everybody, it's Robin Scherzer with Robin Stampin' Hood, and welcome to my August In Color Club. This month we worked with Strawberry Slush. So let's get started. Now this club is for people remote from me, or they come to my studio and do this, and they get supplies. They get everything that's in the In Colors. And then I create cards for them so they can do some fun things with it. So some of them will be following along with the supplies I've given them. So you might hear me say that you got this in your package, and that's why you're hearing me say that. So let's go ahead and start. So this is the first card. Again, it is Strawberry Slush. I'm gonna just adjust my light there a little bit. And before we get started, the one thing I didn't do is I did not cut out the cute little flower. Now, I try to be very minimalistic when I do my In Color Club because I want people to see what just using one stamp set can do for them, and just with the paper and the supplies that they have. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out a flower, and maybe I don't have a good one to cut out here, but we'll see. How about this one? I'll just cut out this one. I hate to waste paper. So we'll go ahead and you're gonna fussy cut out one of the flowers from the DSP that you got. Obviously you can see on my sample that I did a little bit of a bigger piece or a bigger flower. Excuse me, all of a sudden I got all froggy. I'm gonna just cut that away real quick to make it a little easier. So again, you're just gonna kind of fussy cut around a flower that you have chosen just to give it a little element. And then of course, using our embellishments to give it a nice little fun center. I'm just gonna do that off there. So there is that. Probably not the prettiest, but that's okay, right? And then I did go ahead, and so your paper itself, your base, is gonna be 8.5 by 5.5. So you're just gonna go ahead and fold that over. And then you're gonna add now you should have got this in your supplies. This is 4 by 5.25. So for your inside, so we'll go ahead and put that in there before I lose it, because as you guys know, I tend to lose things very quickly on my desk. I know that's shocking, isn't it? I bet I'm not the only one, right? And then we want to go ahead and do our top piece. And I took this, and now this is cut to 4 by 5.25, and I just ran it through the eyelets embossing folder. I think that's what it's called. Let's see. Yeah, the Eyelet 3D. You could do any folder you have. Don't worry about what I've done, but you can see that any folder will work. I just wanted to give it some depth, if that's the word, or a little bit more. It's better when you have embossed. It just gives it a little bit of something it didn't have, right? So then there's our base. And now let's create our centerpiece. So this piece I cut to 3 by 4, I believe. Let me just double check. Yep, 3 by 4. So you have a white piece of 3 by 4, and you're gonna cut yourself a piece of Strawberry Slush that is 3 by 1.25, and you're gonna tear it. So all you're gonna do is kind of use the one finger as a guide, and you're just gonna tear it down like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just creating this little piece right here. All right, and then we cut some other pieces. And again, you can use whatever paper that you have. So this piece is 3 by 1.25. So we're gonna go ahead and put that down. There you go, just put it right at the top. And then this piece is 3 inches long by 3/4. 3/4, okay? I tend to always put an extra 3 in there, but it's just 3/4. And so I'm gonna put it butt it right up against there. Easy, right? And then we're gonna go ahead, and I actually think I'm gonna tear a little bit more of this off here. And then we're gonna go ahead, this is gonna sit right here. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit because I want that room for my thanks, but I also want a little bit of white showing. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this first. So then we can kind of do a little bit better at lining up. Now, in case you're wondering, the stamp set I'm going to use this month is just called Blooming Phrases, and I thought it was perfect with the long skinny. And I've used it a few times, and their little ending, you can put it as a stem on these different flowers too, which is fun. So let's see, I need my thank you. Let's grab that real quick here. There's my thanks. So we're gonna ink it up. And I'm just gonna do it right across the middle here. And hopefully that's good. Yes, yay, yay. I'm always excited when that works out for me. All right, and then let's put this piece down. Looks like my cut might be a little crooked, so we might have to take some snips and do some fixing. But we can handle that, right? Yes, we can. All right, so you can see I'm noticing that little bit coming off of there. Maybe my cut wasn't quite right. So I'm just gonna take my snips and go up the center with it to make it a little better. All right, perfect. And then I am going to, did I pop this up? I can't remember now. I did pop it up. So I'm gonna pop it up. And I'm gonna use some of my side pieces because it's a bigger piece and it will just help me get that popped up better, I think. I'll put this one in the corner. I love using the edges. I feel so accomplished when I've used up all my edges. I don't know why. It's weird, I know, but that's just what it is. All right, so I'm gonna put that there. And I'm going to put that there. All right, so let's pull all these pieces off. This is always, to me, the hardest part, right? Is pulling off all the backing. And then you're like, did I get them all? Yep. Some people take a highlighter and they highlight their backing so then they know. I haven't gotten there yet. All right, so then this is just gonna be centered. All right, and then we're gonna take our flower, we're gonna pop our flower up too. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab, let's see, we'll put this on right away. And just off to the side. I didn't do a very good job fussy cutting, but that's okay. Whoever gets that's gonna be happy, right? And then I'm gonna take one of the embellishments. Oh my goodness, let's try it on this side instead. Do you guys have one of these little fun little tools? I might be out of my little sticky stuff, so we'll have to replace that, but that's for a different time and place. So instead, I'm just gonna grab my snips because it's not liking that I'm trying to get it. So there, and we're just gonna put that right there. Yay! So there is card number 1. Cute, cute. And again, I'm trying to show that you can use one stamp set in many ways when you have just cardstock and designer series paper. So let's move on to card number 2. So card number 2 is this one right here. Fun, fun, right? So, again, you would have just gotten the white supplies from me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp our sentiment first, which is hello there. Let me grab the right one. That's just a note. I just have stuff everywhere. Here's hello there. And this is from the die set that has, oh my gosh, you're going to ask me and now I'm not going to remember. It is this die set. So it's this die right here, textured note dies. Love it. It's got all the different rectangles with different types of stitching around the side of it. So that is a definite must for your playroom or your craft room, if you will. So I'm just gonna stamp that real quick. Oh, my hello got a little goofy, but that's okay. It's okay. No one panic. All right, we're going to set that aside. It looks like I had a really juicy, I hit a real juicy piece right there. So I'm just going to set that aside and let it do what it needs to do. So I included in your packets a white base, which this is the thick white base, which when you're using white as a base of your card, make sure you're using the thick, because otherwise the basic white is a lot lighter weight and it just kind of collapses. So I love the thick white for that. And then this panel is cut, again, just a normal, 5 1/4 by 4, so 1/4 inch smaller. And I'm actually going to set this upside down, because I feel like when you use the de-emboss side, it's smoother. And when you're trying to set things down on this bumpiness, it sometimes is a little bit of a hindrance. So I like to sometimes use the de-emboss side. So we're going to do that this time. And I'm using more glue than I normally do, again, because of the bumpiness. So we're going to go ahead, just lay that down. All right. Perfect. And then you are going to cut a piece of your designer series paper, a 3 by 2. And then I just took another 3 by 2 piece of white, and we're just going to kind of offset it just a little bit. You can see I'm leaving a little bit of white up there. So I'm just going to kind of offset it. I'm going to keep the white straight when I lay it down, but I'm going to make the designer series paper just a little crooked. So let's do that now while I'm got this here and I can see a little bit better. So I'm trying to show white on each corner, but just giving it a little different look. Sometimes it's, just having everything always squared out is, not always interesting. So then I'm going to go ahead and lay this whole piece down. Oops. Okay. And oops, I almost put it right in the middle, which would have been okay too, but let's go ahead and put that down like that. Oh, and I'm actually doing it the wrong way. See my sample? Oh my gosh, sometimes I just lose my mind. So that's okay. We're gonna make it work though, right? So we'll just put it across like that. I mean, it works just fine, right? It's just a little different. It's okay. There's nothing to see here. Oh my gosh, sometimes I wonder. All right, let's pop this up though. We're gonna pop her up, and I'm gonna use my edges that I got left. Oh, sometimes I wonder about myself. All right, actually, you know what? I need another, my pieces needed to be cut, but I'm not gonna take the time. So I'm gonna make sure I have that all across there. Yay, yay, yay. All right. Okay, there we go. I have a girlfriend in rehab right now. Not drug rehab, but she had a stroke. I'm not laughing because of that. I'm laughing because of the drug rehab, which is not funny, but you know what I mean. So I love making cards and sending them to her because she's quite a ways from me. She's about 9-hour drive from me. So I've been trying to send her a couple cards a week with little Bible verses in it just to give her some, oops. So this will be a good one to send her too. So then I just did a little bow with my bow maker because I'm not a good bow maker. And then we're going to just add this. I think I have it over here on that one, but maybe I'll put it over here. Is that cute? But I'm going to cut some of this down, right? Maybe even some more right there. And I always touch my bow to the glue dot. It just makes life easier, and then I pull it off. So do I want it there or do I want it over here? I think we'll keep it there. That'll be cute. I'll get that one in the mail. But of course, we still need some embellishments, even though we have the ribbon. I always like a little bit of, you know, something to happen there. So I'm gonna use some of the bigger ones, put them down here, and then go up with up here, and then get that one that tried to get away from me before. Oops. It's still trying to get away from me. And there. So there you go. There is your second card. Again, you could do it this way, or you could do it that way. I was planning for you to have it open that way, but there you go. Either way works just as fine. All right, let's go on to card number 3. Excuse me. This one is super simple to do. We're just going to use our card base that is 8.5 by 5.5. I know I love this flower paper, so you might be getting sick of me using the flowers, but they're my favorite out of this pack of designer series paper. Okay, so your card base 5.5 by 8.5. So go ahead and burnish that, and then you're gonna cut. Well, everybody that got my kits, you should have 2 4 by 5 1/4 white pieces. And so one goes on the inside and one goes on the outside. So we'll go ahead and do that right away. Well, we'll do the inside one, and then we're gonna stamp first just to make sure I'm semi lined up. All right. So I did cut a strip of designer series paper. That's 1.5 or 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 that I'm just going to lay down there. So this is 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And I just cut it when I cut the main piece. The main piece is 5 1/4 because it's going across that white piece. The white piece is 5 1/4 by 1. Let me just make sure I'm going to tell you that right. By 1 3/4. So this piece is 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp my piece first. And again, I'm using the blooming phrases, and we're going to use just because, you know, just because. So let's go ahead, stamp that across, and then I'm just going to kind of take my paper and make sure I'm not going to glue it down quite yet in case I make a mistake, but it's nice to use it as kind of a guide on where I want my stamp to go. And I'm going to scoot this all the way over because we're going to tie a ribbon around here, and I noticed my ribbon was kind of getting in the way of the word. So I'm going to just offset it just a little bit. Perfect. Hip, hip, hooray, right? Get that off my desk first. See, look at that. Off my desk. Let's glue this down. Oops. I love my glass sheet, but I keep this on here because I feel like there's too much of a glare for you guys to see actually what I'm doing when I'm videotaping. It does tend to glare back at you with the lights. All right. I do like it. Okay, so there's that piece. And so what I'm going to do before I put this piece down is we're going to actually take our ribbon and we are going to wrap it around and let it go around the card. I'm trying this new little thing. I don't know if it works or not, where it kind of helps to keep your ribbon contained. So what I'm going to do, I think instead, I don't think I cut enough for this to wrap around, which is fine. Let me show you a little trick if it doesn't. Oops, oopsie, oops. Yeah, so I did not cut enough for it to wrap around, which I said, like, is fine. So what I like to do in that case, am I making you dizzy here? Is I'm going to take a glue dot. Oops, two glue dots. And did I just get one stuck to my finger? Yes, I did. And I'm going to kind of looky-loo where this sits, and I'm going to put one glue dot. Sure, I'm going to put one glue dot here. Okay. And then I'm going to grab another glue dot, one that won't stick to my finger. And I'm going to glue it right across from it. Get it to stick down there. Okay. So I'll take the end of each of these ribbons, and I'm gonna, or of this ribbon, and I'm gonna put one there, okay? And that hopefully I got it lined up right. It looks like I might be a little high, so I'm gonna just pull that off and do it down on the edge of it, because I just want it to come across like that, okay? I know, and you're wondering, well, why do you have so much ribbon? Okay, hold on, I'll show you. I'll show you. See, I got my glue dots too high. So I'm going to redo that because I don't like that for my glue dots. Hold, please, while I redo that. I'm going to bring them down. And it's fine, the other glue dots there. It's just, it'll help hold it down onto. So I'm just putting the glue dot over here. Okay, so let's try that again. Because I don't want it quite, I should have probably brought my paper down just a little bit. So don't do what I just did. But we'll put it on that glue dot, and we're gonna bring it across, so that's better. So now the other end is going to go like that, okay? And that's now probably a little too low. We'll get this, guys, we'll get it. Okay, there we go. All right. So you can see I have this big string, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it across where I want it to lay, and I want to have the bow come on this side, okay? So I am gonna cut it right here instead of cutting it in the middle, because then I'm just gonna go ahead and tie up. And this ribbon's way too long for what I did. You don't have to have it that long. I was just kind of being lazy when I did it. So again, I don't want it to obscure the words. So I'm gonna actually scoot it a little bit further over. And I might have to take a glue dot and hold that ribbon down, but we'll see here. Oh my goodness, it is just being cranky. All right, there we go. There. So that's what I'm doing when I don't have a whole ribbon, and I used way too much. So it's to help save you ribbon, and I didn't do a very good job doing that. But what I'm gonna do, because I feel like it's turning too much, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lay this down on the base so then I can futz with the ribbon a little bit better. I'm sure I just totally confused you, and I apologize. If you have questions, just let me know. All right. So I'm just framing it out. Okay. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take my glue dot and fix that bow so it doesn't look so it's not right onto the J, if that makes sense. So I'm going to kind of twist this a little bit, and then I'm going to take a glue dot and put a glue dot right underneath so it doesn't move on me. All right. Perfect. Yay. I kind of made it work, right? Okay. So, of course, we have the ribbon. We need the embellishments. So let's put some embellies on this. So I like to kind of use like this, you know, the little centers as kind of fill them in a little bit, and then we'll put some up here because that's such a blank space. We'll do that or that. Oh, we'll do that. And there you go. There is your third card. Okay, so let's show you again. So this is card number 3, card number 2 in 2 different directions, and card number 1. So there you go. Those are my in color cards for the month of August, and that is Strawberry Slush. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have questions, let me know. Happy stamping.